Wealth without freedom is not enough. Imagine you have a $5 million net worth and you haven't been to your kid's soccer game in a year. When you finally are able to take vacation, you're exhausted and can't wind down. And you're working 80 hours a week. Is that really wealthy? Is that what we're all going for?
Welcome to the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. Your guide on this journey is Amy Sylvis, ready to unlock the keys to a life of true abundance. We're diving into everything from financial freedom and optimal health to meaningful relationships, geographic freedom, and everything in between. It's about creating a life rich in experiences, purpose, and joy. If you're ready for the secrets to an abundant life, hit that subscribe button now, and let's get started.
All right, everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. My name is Amy Sylvis. It's great to see you all here today. Woo! Things have been rocking and rolling over here on our side. We're actually moving, so I'll do a future podcast about that. I know we've talked a bit in the past about renting versus owning, so I've been thinking through what to talk about with regards to that, but some cool information coming there. We have a new baby in the family. My sister-in-law gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Everyone is happy and healthy. We're just overjoyed. Somehow I decided to go to a new hair colorist, and now I look like Sharon Osbourne. So enjoy this hair color if you can see it while it's here, because it's getting fixed real quick. I do not like it, but sometimes you try to save time by going to someone closer to where you live, and oops, you're reminded why you drive far to get a good hair color. Ah, champagne problems, right? Champagne problems. The other really cool thing before we kick this off, I don't know if you all have heard of a gentleman named Christian Collins. He just committed to USC basketball, which is really exciting. I'm a football lady, but let me tell you how fast I am becoming a USC basketball fan. This guy has cystic fibrosis, y'all. I have only seen maybe 4 or 5 other people living with CF, this lung condition, that have been NCAA Division I athletes. I am so excited that he's healthy enough and talented enough to play Division I basketball and lives with CF. Just absolutely incredible. My head is spinning. It's a big accomplishment for our community. And of course, for this young man, just could not be more proud of him. I've seen a couple interviews with him, and he is just so, so impressive. And seen his mom, and obviously she's incredibly impressive as well. So of all schools, USC, we love it. We love it. We love to see it. So, I was thinking the past few days about this idea of hustle culture in the United States. And, everyone gets to decide what they want to do with their life and their time. But we talk about abundance here on the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. And we talk about ways to control our time and what we do with it, who we hang out with, how we contribute to society, how we get meaning, how we give back, all of those good things, where we live, where we vacation, all things to control our time. And often the vehicle to do that is to be able to have income that isn't tied to our ability to trade time for it. So I'm sure you all are like me, and you know a bunch of people who appear wealthy, which is what society tells us, right? Get that money, focus on that, maximize that. But I saw that quote the other day. I wish I knew who I could attribute it to, but this idea of wealth without freedom is simply not enough. I talk to investors all the time, as you can imagine, that have money, that want to invest, that want to even grow their wealth and their money, but they want to also be able to spend time with their children, give back, all the good things, right? So it's a great and exciting topic for us to tackle and talk about today, right? Well, let's get into it. There's this idea, it really reminds me when I got my first job. Gosh, I'm almost 45. So this was decades ago, but I worked with a gentleman. I haven't asked him if I could share this story, so I will keep his name anonymous. but he was a little bit older than me, and his whole equation for life wasn't necessarily to maximize salary. And this is when I was in biotech. He wasn't looking to maximize salary. He was looking to maximize the amount of money he could make for the time that he was spending. And not in some weird, like criminal way or some shady way, but just, what could he do that could maximize the amount of money he made per hour? And it was such a mindset shift for me because I'm sure, like most of you all, the end all be all, right, is to earn as much money, but no one talks about how much are you making per hour? Who cares if you're working, if you've got several $1 million, at least in my opinion, maybe you disagree, but who cares if you've got millions of dollars if you have to ask your boss if you can take vacation, right? If you have to ask your boss to be able to take care of your child when he or she is sick, or gosh, if you don't have enough time to go to church, contribute to, people in need in your community, hang out with your family, all of those things. But anyway, I get it. The golden handcuffs, I think we've all been there, right? So as we explore ways we can earn income that isn't tied to our time, whether it is, and we've talked about them endlessly on the podcast, but obviously I choose real estate. That's hands off income. But gosh, you can choose stock dividends. You can clip coupons from bonds. You can have royalties from books and other intellectual property. You can create courses and sell those. There's all sorts of great things. And the good news is you don't have to quit your W-2 if your goal is to increase the amount of money that you're creating, that you're not trading your time for. You can buy back your time even while working a W-2 by doing that. So we think of doctors, we think of lawyers. Things are changing. Those are amazing people. I'm so grateful we have them. But as society changes, you can feel it, right? The era of AI, there's a lot of disruption happening, and people are realizing that this idea of I'm going to work, 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 and then retire when my body is tired and maybe diseased, and that's when I'm going to enjoy life or, give back and contribute or build those relationships. And thankfully, that doesn't have to be the choice. We can lay the groundwork now and not have to essentially be a modern day slave. Have you ever thought about having multiple streams of income? Instead of relying on just one stream of income where you're trading your time for money, how would you like to free up more of your time and live a more abundant life? As a listener of the show, you're invited to attend one of our upcoming trainings where I'll give you an inside look into how you can add passive income and get all the other perks of recession-resistant real estate investing without the headaches of being a landlord. I'll also be sharing some hidden mistakes to avoid and the criteria I personally look for when evaluating potential investment opportunities. To reserve your seat for free, go to sylviscapital.com/webinar. Again, that special link to reserve your seat for free is sylviscapital.com/webinar. I look forward to seeing you on the training. And now back to the show. Okay, so if you agree with this premise that money is not the destination, money is simply the vehicle, and hands-off income is one of the best ways that we can utilize, that we can use to buy back our time so we can do what we want, when we want, where we want, with whom we want, for however long we want, then I want you all to establish your freedom number if you haven't done so already. We're going to talk a bit about this on the podcast in a couple weeks, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview. So have you ever calculated what your monthly expenses are? And this isn't, living, on a shoestring budget. This is, what are your real monthly expenses? And have you ever calculated how much, so that's monthly, right? Your monthly expenses. And then how much hands-off income would you need to be able to pay those monthly expenses? How much money are you getting every month from stock dividends, from bond coupons, from real estate passive income, from drop shipping, from creating a course that people are buying that you're not actively, it's on demand, or royalties? What percent of your expenses are covered by that hands-off income? Have you ever calculated that? I think a lot of us are taught to calculate our net worth. Very important. A lot of us track our active income, the income that we have that comes in from what we have to trade our time for. But have you ever calculated your freedom number and how much hands-off income you need every month? Hey, and you may not be pleased with the results that you get, but at least you're doing what most Americans have never done, which is knowing what your target is, knowing what that number needs to be for you to be able to own your time. So, of course, the next step is, really being mindful of what you're doing with your active time right now. Are you going to say yes to the next promotion at work to earn more active income? Or might you stay at where you are in your current role so that you have time to create a side hustle? You've got time to create something that will pay you, dividends, like a course or some sort of intellectual property, writing a book, creating a side hustle that will be passive in nature in terms of income. It's something to consider. What are your goals? So the first one is defining your freedom number. The second one is really considering how you're spending your existing time in terms of trading your time for money and outlining what your plan might be if and when you're offered a promotion or switching jobs. Is that necessarily going to fulfill your trajectory and where you want to go in terms of buying back your time? For some of you, it might not be. For some of you, you might be fine, kind of staying where you are. And then your final step, your third step is to really keep track of how many days of the week you own. So as you gradually create more and more hands-off income, you get to measure how many days off you took to be able to spend time the way that you want. And right now it might be, hey, Amy, I'm working 52 weeks a year, or maybe you get 2 weeks vacation. I'm working 50 weeks a year, 5 days a week, and that's just where I am. Great. How over the next 6 months can you buy back more of that time? What could you be doing to trade less of your time for money without reducing your living standard? Ooh, it gets really, really good. It gets really, really good because the ultimate definition of wealth, yeah, is, well, okay, there's two ultimate definitions of wealth in my book, and you can let me know in the comments what you all think. But I think one is how many days can you go without working your active income, or how many days do you have that you control, that you have off? So however you define it, I think this is an exciting new time. It's never been easier to be able to cover your expenses with passive income. It just takes intentionality, figuring out where you are, where you want to go, and then add in a little bit of, hey, what motivates you? So making that dream board or making those intentions every morning that you look at, that you envision, that you dream of, that'll help motivate you to get there. So stay tuned. We're going to keep talking more and more about this, but really appreciate you all joining us today. Leave a comment if you would, wherever you're listening to this, and let us know how close you are to your freedom number or how you define wealth yourself or abundance. All right, y'all. Great to talk to you today. Talk to y'all soon.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will empower you on your journey towards abundance. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us, and it helps others discover the secrets to an abundant life too. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn, Amy Sylvis. Keep striving for your goals, nurturing your relationships, and embracing the adventure that is life. Until next time, we wish you an abundantly fulfilling day.